Today, I want to take a deep dive into Ceice and Chari's insane trio performance. They just got 4 wins out of 8 games and scored over 440 points in the FNCS trial. That is absolutely insane. I think they had the most wins out of anybody in the top 50. So we're going to dive into one of their games and we're going to learn a ton from watching them. I'm super excited for this, so let's get straight into it. Okay, the game that I want to watch is this 27-minute game, 11 kill win. This is around the midpoint of the tournament. So they were almost qualified or should have been qualified, but let's just see what they do. Let's right out of the gate. Okay, so they are on the edge of qual at this point. They're super confident, I'm sure, going into this game that they're going to be able to execute exactly what they want to do. And yeah, let's see it. Let's see it happen. Okay, so they're landing Lost Lakes here, and this spot's obviously really good just because of its guaranteed mobility and, of course, its elemental chest. They're going to have the best loot every time. It looks like they are conned by a couple not so great players or not so known players. We're going to see what they do here. Looks like just loot up and get ready to push over. I would imagine they want to finish this fight quick here, just because they are in a near center map position, so they got to be careful for sure. Let's see. Cammy still doesn't have a shotgun. Now he finally gets... Oh, that's an SMG. Never mind. Looks like he's going to go on a flank with the Pearl. Absolutely perfect to do that. Gets a fry. Talks about positioning. Chari, go ahead and... He's going to go ahead and get on the high ground here on the back. They're setting up a perfect pinch. The Pearl is absolutely beautiful, and I wouldn't want anybody else in the world to flank for me other than Cammy. Like, Cammy is an absolute genius when it comes to just all the little intricate things when in competitive Fortnite, knowing when and where to flank and how to be... Uh-oh. Gets fried up here. I am also very curious to see how Chari, I think I'm saying his name right, plays in trios. Because before I think trios was with Teak, right? Cammy said Teak. And Teak was a very... Like, from what I remember, it was a bit ago, right? It was a very, like, support style player. Like, they all were kind of decent. Like, it's not like Cammy and Seti pick up, like, the world's best fragger. I think they're just going for very smart players. They know what they're doing. And I think that, by the looks of it, this is a perfect fit for them, right? Chari's definitely talented enough, but nothing like a Peterbot. Maybe I'm wrong on that. We're going to have to see here, but, you know... They don't need that. They're all brains, and they're all, of course, very good in their own way. Like, I would be very scared to fight Cammy Seti alone in an in-game. So, like, and I think anybody would be. They're very smart and they're very methodical, and most definitely the brains of EU. A lot of EU pros look up to these guys, and so I'm excited to see what we can learn here. But yeah, quick little wipe off spawn. Lost Lake. Now they're uncontested. They get to loot up for free and get on with themselves. Keep the game moving. Looks like they're running triple sword here, which is expected. I don't think they've found more than 1 pearl anyways, so no big deal. And they are choosing to throw down the little guy early. I think it's probably because it's what? It's a 2 guy, right? Yeah, it only had 2 charges. Oh, wow, there's a shrine in the middle here. Okay. I did not know that. There's a shrine in their POI. Well, I mean, maybe I'm the last one to know this, but that's pretty crazy. Wow, okay. So overall, I mean, just looting, right? Nothing crazy. They're going to spread out, get as much loot as they can. And it doesn't look like they have anybody around them. I mean, we've got a team Brutal Boxcars. We've got a team down in the night shift for us, but that's really it. And they're pulling zones, man. They're pulling zones for sure. It's not hard to get this zone, especially if we land a center map, but looks like they're going to start to head towards the center of zone here. And just try to get into a decent position early on now that they have Surge. And they already have, I mean, all their loot at Lost Lake. You know, they had to contest the spot, so half of it's already gone. So they're going to kind of try to expand early here. One thing I am learning right now is just like, not that this is game-breaking knowledge, but from Lost Lake, right? Like, who lands here, right? What is this split? I'm sure this is somebody's split or some team gets this. Maybe nobody at all. Maybe that's the case and just no one takes this, but this is a huge bonus. Maybe Lost Lake takes this. I don't really know. I gotta look into the splits here, but this is a huge bonus, right? They can fight off spawn, and then in open lobbies especially, like no one's landing here in an opens lobby. Maybe in a customs lobby, you know, someone will send here, someone there to get it and run away. But in an opens lobby, this is all gonna be free. So they can fight, use as much utility as they want. They have a shrine in the POI, and they also have a shrine right outside. And I'm sure there's a couple more just on the edge of Lost Lakes. And then they also have this whole gas station and house combo here, so they're able to just get super stacked every game. Yeah, here's another shrine just across the road, so like they're gonna guarantee have the best heals every single game and should just be able to cap up their extra loot if they need anything. Not that Lost Lake is shambles at all. Lost Lake is definitely good. So they're able to just get capped from that, but Definitely looks like metal is their only lacking resource. But as we know, it's Cammy and Ceice. They'll find the way. It looks like they're already finding it here, farming gas station. Good zone pull for them overall. Center zone. I'm seeing a lot of these south zones here where they're just pulling straight to the mountains. And I'm actually curious on how they're going to rotate this coming up. Or going down, rather. Like, what is their preferred route? I would imagine you'd want to go towards Night Shift Forest, but as we can see here on the map, there's a ton of people over there, so maybe they just white line and pass right by Foxy Floodgate and hope they don't see them. But it looks like they're also split on these hills. Let's see what they do here. Continue to farm up gas here. Finish farming. I mean, look at their loadout. Max AR ammo, 200 on Ceice, 500 on Chari. They all have, or 2 out of 3 have the little blue guys, little bobs. Now they're good to go. They get another shrine, get more blue guys. Max mats now. They've all got cap metal, I believe, or very close. Working their way into zone here. One thing that's interesting, and I don't know if this is intentional or not, but just kind of pulling through here and going towards a shrine. I'm sure they can see these bases from back here. Of course, I think this is out of render by the looks of it, just the eye test. But they can just see, okay, there's a base there, we're going to go left. Or there's a base there, we're going to go right. And so they have a lot of options. And there's a lot of LOS here. I mean, if they're able to just sword one time into the bottom ravine here, they can get straight down without any of these teams really seeing them. And we're seeing it here. They kind of just saw a side that was open and took it. And that's the case here with a lot of these spots, especially since this is a double hill, right? Like, if you're looking at Foxy Floodgate as a spot itself, you're gonna put 2 people here, or at least one, which there of course is. Splitting it is a little rough, especially if you don't have pearls. And I wonder if these guys have pearls. It may have been a scenario where they just got kind of lucky. Yeah, these guys didn't have pearls, so they can't really hold down the hills and just teleport away confidently. They have to kind of stay closer. And so Cammy said he realized that. Not that they realized they don't have pearls, but they realized that the left side's more free. They're gonna take it, and of course. They're map gurus already. They know where every bit of metal is, where the best metal is, and they're able to just get it perfect every time. And there is an abundant amount of metal on the map, so it's not like it's the most difficult thing, but yeah. Now moving forward, Cammy Ceice, almost dead center zone. 30 seconds till the next zone shows. They're just going to keep farming up, capping their mats, and waiting for the next pull. And again, I'm seeing a lot of south zones, so they should be able to get pretty stacked here. I'd be surprised if they built anything crazy here for a base. Maybe they know they're going to pull zone, but yeah, here we go. They keep going. They kind of even know it's going to pull south. Like, it's just been happening. This chapter just is a lot of south zones here. And again, I think we're seeing another thing, just kind of what they did before going up the hill is like, they see no one's on this left side here, or, our right side now. They see no one's over here, then they go. Then they see no one's on this hill, and then they go. And then they're checking again. They're checking deeper here. Like, okay, so there's a guy on the pad hill. They're padding. There's no one on this other airplane hill. Let's take it. So they're just taking what's given, and they're not really forcing anything. And they also don't have to force anything. Again, they are so early that they should be able to just take what's given. And they're confident just being in this position. And this is a great hill to be on, for sure. Interesting base. I don't think we need to dive too deep into it, but they already have kills. They already have a decent amount of tags outside of this, and just before they got the kills, the finishes, all that stuff. So they're definitely good on Surge, and in a 56-player lobby, it's just going to be pretty chill. And then, of course, Cammy going down here, getting the mats, dropping everyone, making sure that these guys are cap 150, finding extra heals if there are any. Cammy's just going to farm up safely. But yeah, another South Mountain Zone. They were able to get in pretty early and get into a good position here. I just skipped all that for you guys so you don't have to watch it. They literally just sat here for the last minute or so and just did nothing. Now, they're headed out. They're going to rotate out right away. And they do go instantly. They don't hesitate. They know where they're going to go. They go right away, and they use LOS on this team while they're building. This is perfect timing, right? As soon as you see a team building on the hill here, or building on any hill you're going towards, or maybe this team right here, they're establishing, and you're going towards them. That's the perfect time to go. They're all distracted, worrying about who's building what, where they're building, who's dropping the mats to go refarm, and so they take advantage of this team, not seeing that, the Cammy said are coming by. They come on right by. Stick right here. One thing that's also really interesting is a trio in 2 boxes. Maybe they decide to build more, but definitely looks like they're trying to conserve as many mats as possible. And then they also opt to stop here. Like, they don't want to go down the hill. They don't want to change position too much. They want to stay somewhat elevated. And this will be very interesting to see what they do past this point. Do they try to take the pad? Do they just rotate down with a sword? Also, something to mention here is that they put themselves in almost a perfect sword distance or a perfect sword position anywhere, right? This is something that Maybe they just did it on accident, but I honestly would say they did it on purpose. Cammy said you are extremely smart. Right here, right? Sword, boom, straight down the hill into that zone. Here, perfect, sword, gone. Right? Versus like, imagine they stopped here, where they're, you know, down here on this hill, and they could technically still sword down, but it's a little harder. And then same thing here. If they want to go back, they're just almost right in the middle, right? They're right where you want to be. Sword, straight down, slide, boom, back to the plain hill, you're done. And then, of course, they have the angles, avoiding the angles from the top team. And, yeah, they're just chilling. I think another thing that's really cool here is the patience. Like, I have not seen them edit a single wall since they've been here. And they're literally just sitting AFK. Like, I think that's like, either they know they're already qualled, or they know this is, you know, the putt in game. They're about to just get in, qualled, be done with it. And they're just done. They don't want to mess around anymore. Or they're just extremely patient because not opening on a single person when you could just be spraying this team or just messing with somebody else and just kind of having a good time. Like, I don't think, actually, that's not a good time. You know, you should be playing competitive strict. But no, but like, yeah, they're not opening the walls at all. This is very, very disciplined for sure. They just built the boxes and stayed. Very interesting. So next zone goes. I'm sure they're already reading it. We can kind of look here as well. Like, what would we do, right? I think on a zone like this, you're in the perfect position. You just got to sword and go right away. As soon as it pops, be ready to go. Be in your cone. We're about to see Ceice just instantly edit and go. I would predict that would be the play, especially since you're still 555. Just use your mats. You're all maxed out. I mean, everyone here hasn't used a build. But here we go. Let's see. Goes. Everyone ready? Go. Hits it. Goes straight down the hill here. Uses the LOS here. Does he opt to get the wind tunnel? Let's see. Ah, they have the water boon. Okay, yeah. Go figure, man. I mean, they should have it, right? They have 3 shrines right next to them. They should all 3 have it every game. They stop in the river. Katana. Uh-oh. Keep going. So they don't have to waste any heals. They barely waste any mats there. And they're just cutting straight into center zone. This is the perfect path for them. Meanwhile, I haven't seen them take any shots in the last like 2-3 minutes. They haven't shot a single gun, a single bullet. But here they are. Now they're in the center of zone. Cammy's going to build his base. Someone's going to drop their mats and go refarm and try to cap up their mats as best they can. Again, they're sitting in this 2 base here, like just 2 boxes, chilling, condensed. Okay, now we make some more space. Okay, I was about to say. Okay, yeah, right. We should see one of them go out and get some refarm here, but they're in the most low-key. Hey, here we go. Steady's getting some mats. Low-key spot possible. I mean, there is literally no one around them. No one that's going to mess with them. They're playing this extremely safe. And 0 risk. They're capping their mats. They're doing their thing. Zone's closing in here. I mean, this is a very methodical playstyle, man. I got to say. They're really playing smart here. Passive. Okay. Next zone's about to come in. They're already in the dead center zone. They still have max mats. I'm actually curious if they ever burn any mats in this game. They still all have cap. Zone goes. Okay, so they're in the valley here. They know they got to go instantly. They go, and they just build a little bit of wood, burn a little bit of mats. All good. If you get hit, no big deal. Use the water. Let's see. Do they try to jump on this guy? Oh my. Okay. Wait. So things turn south really quick. Chari goes straight down to 2 HP. They have to burn their mats now. On a rotate, which seemed like it would be very easy, it almost turned bad. I'm very curious to why that team, like why that situation happened. From the looks of it, it just seemed like they didn't scout before they went. Like he kind of just assumed nobody was around them because why would you also be down here, right? So they're just like, look, we got to go. It's a max pull. We got to get up this hill. So they go, and then they just don't really check around them, and they think it's a solo. And, you know, the guy has a teammates, and just turns a little rough for them. But interesting here, Ceice, I think he probably wanted to wrap here. He wanted to go around and get to where this Greenwood guy is and be over here, but maybe even cut through this mountain right here and come out on the other side. This would have been beautiful, right? Come into almost center zone and be off the hot side. I think that's best case scenario for them, but because of the situation that happened, they just opt to get up the hill early. And they also choose, I mean, it is in zone, right? They're not in zone. They're very close to zone, but they do choose to elevate, right? They could have maybe come around here and slid and gone down, but they want to get up. They want to stay elevated, and that's very smart in this meta. And of course, now they're burning their mats, they're burning their heals, and now the game's looking a little rough. I'm curious on how they come back from this. It's not like they're very low mats at all. They're still almost 1,000 builds each, but It's a lot more fun to watch now than just seeing them be 5-5-5, refarming max mats, not getting shot at, and not having to shoot anybody. Now they're actually having to play, and we're going to see the real Ceice come out here. So next zone goes, Ceice looks, he sees a path, he opts to go for it, slings himself over the hill, boxes, stops again. Very nice. Pretty good decision making. Overall, he just knew this was a blind rotate, so he slings over, stops, goes again when he sees that there's a, you know, place for him to land in an open spot. Also, I mean, look at the mini map. Everyone's going super early here. Like, not that it's hard to go early because you have a movement item that's crazy, but 2 movement items that are crazy, but they just opt to go. And of course, when they did box there, they stopped elevated, so that was also handy for this rotate that just happened. But now they get in and start spraying. Sure, they see yeah, what was it, little third party trying to get a kill here. I mean, they need a refresh for sure. They're not going to be perfect mats the entire game, but they're still good. Like, if they get zones, they can come back from it. So far, it's looking like they've had a couple max pulls, 2 max pulls back to back, and then they had that fight. Heals looking okay, and yeah, this is the meta. For those that are curious, big pots and the little blue guy, that's your go-to heal, and then their med kits if you can. In a trio, you should always have med kits. You don't have to waste the blue guy for whites. But yeah, 3 blue guys, 3 big pots. You're good to go. You're golden. They're somehow very uncontested on this side of the map, and they're still elevated. I mean, notice again, right? They stopped before the hill went down, and they managed to stay elevated in the most elevated way possible. I mean, like, they are on the edge of the hill here. They could have been over one to the right, but they're right in the perfect position to be able to sword instantly next zone. I'm sure Ceice's looking for that possible rotate right now. You can kind of see his perspective here if we pause it, right? What does it look like for him? He can see, okay, I can go around right here, but I can see there's that brick wall, so I know a team's there. I can go on top of this team and hope that, you know, these guys are busy doing their own thing. Maybe they're in the bottom box, but that's kind of risky. I could sling over this hill. I'm curious to see what they do. I mean, of course, it depends on the zones. And for here, you know, this is an open path. You see the box being open. You see players in between, but there's always a line in the middle there. It's not pretty, but you could send it. So let's see. Zone goes far. I think this is going to be, yeah, he's gonna try and just take this dead space here that he sees. Right, he can tell no one's here, right? These are clearly like dead boxes, especially with the minis on the ground. So he goes. Oh, he opts to go. Okay, so maybe they saw that this team went. Looks like this team also just went. So he goes, whatever he sees the team goes. Perfect rotate, perfect call. And then here, he gets elevated again, right? So he starts to go up, climbs up a layer, doesn't build a lot of space, just one, you know? And then meanwhile, while Ceice's watching, he's scouting, he's looking for the rotate. Chari and Cammy are just watching the back. They're making sure that nobody comes behind them because they don't want anybody shooting them in the back when they're going. So I think, yeah, Ceice sees it. He calls everybody up together. It's very important to be grouped, right? 3, 2, 1, go. Or, you know, let's everyone come to me. We're going now. Boom, go. They go. They sling themselves to zone, and they're almost in. And that was simple. That was a simple little see a team go in front of you, get elevated, 1-person box, quickly do it, get in that position, box up, see the rotate, go. Sling yourself. Again, elevation has been the entire storyline really for all rotates this game. And they're just playing it perfect. They're never in a low ground position. And now, since they really haven't been shooting people, you know, minus that fight they had, they need some surge. They're 7 below. It's not going to be hard to get, but they do need to start looking to tag people. So said he's going to send his 2 gunners to just look for some kills. I think they're going to try to look for, yeah, a couple pearl kills or something like this all together. And then from this angle right now, they can just, yeah, edit into a stair and go. So they see the space. They're not worried about surge. I think 31 below is not hard to really overcome. You need 1 tag to the body. I doubt they're worried here, but they see this team fighting on the mid ground right next to them, and they're going to definitely take advantage of it. Start to tarp over. Anything for a refresh. Another thing that's really interesting here is they do get themselves, again, right into the dead side position. There's nobody behind them. They were able to just sword straight into it. And this is huge because they don't have a lot of heals now. They don't have a lot of mats from the situation they've been in earlier. So being on these like dead side positions is going to help them save a ton of resources. Here we're seeing Ceice start to ramp up. Again, just trying to get elevated. He just wants to not be on low ground. Because if you sword from this layer up, right? If you're sword here and you go up, you're just going to sling yourself into these builds. So just ramping up a little bit and just double ramping up isn't too, like, it's not too obvious. It's not like you're watching this team like, this team's going. Like, if this team was to edit their cone and face this direction and go, like, everyone would know this team's about to come out with swords. But the stair ramp is very discreet, right? Like, you really don't know what's going on there. They could just be tarping up, whatever it is. So he just elevates. Climbs up, gets a position, sees a team on his lair that are unaware, and then they're in building metal. So this is just a free lick right here. Grab the wall, Notice how Ceice waits. He says, okay, ready? I'm tarping to this. 3, 2, 1, go, or whatever his comms were exactly. But they do wait. They try to get grouped up. Cammy's obviously busy blocking the back and making sure they're protected. I'm curious to see if Cammy does close the back here. So they don't end up getting that refresh on that team. And they don't even go for a pre-edit. It's just a simple spray play because they know they're they have the guns there early while they, this team is so unaware, right? They're just looking different directions. And then right away, Ceice sees an opening just on a lair, right? You can see how free this is. He just goes, takes it. And when you're elevated in the end game, right? Like he did, he climbed up earlier and was able to get elevated here, right? Boom, went from here, got elevated. I think he was around here. Yeah, got to here. So he went up a layer essentially. Up and across a bunch of layers, and then here, right now that you're elevated, you can go back down, right? So now if he wants to go again, he's got to go up again and then back down. But really, this is how you want to be. They're playing the end game. They're preparing their zones and their layers perfect, right? Like knowing the mats and the resources they're going to have by a certain point. Team here, so now I can just drop low again. Pretty lucky pull down the hill here for them. Not lucky, but definitely nice for them to have. Boom, pre-edit. They see a team looking back. This is the perfect thing to do. Chop into the front of the tarp. A lot of these teams will tarp deep into these zones, kind of like this guy. This is a solo, but right in a scenario like this, the team will just harp deep so they have a bunch of claim, and then they'll look back. That's very, very common. And these guys, I think these guys got caught out hard right here. Pre-edit play. Shari's in. Doesn't turn to be too good for them. They don't get a kill. Now they have a teammate knocked. Very unlucky for sure. One res, one hold. There you go. Got him back up. Zone pulled back. Pretty lucky. Now they got to heal up. They got to find a way. How do they win this game? How they have 3 kills right now. How do they win this game with 11 kills with this loadout right now? They are in second moving, right? Yeah, second or third moving. Second moving. They're in second moving or in third moving. They're in the late game and they have very low amount of mats. 10 builds on Chari, 10 builds on Ceice, and what? 6 on Cammy. Very low heals, almost no shield. They're going to have to throw a blue guy for shield here, as well as pop a med kit. So I don't know. And it's not like they have 10 builds of hard mats. They've got wood. Like, we don't have a lot of mats here. He's going to give him more. Both teammates healing up. Both teammates got hit weak. Now it's just Ceice lurking on the low ground here. Just trying to make anything out of this. Trying to get anything. The sword, great for running around zones here and just being quick. But low ground is where they're at. Like, this is where they're most comfortable. They know what they're doing. They see a knock on low ground or a body, something. Here they go. This guy right there gives them a ton of mats. Wow, that's a lot. Knock body plus that guy's body. That's all they need right there. Now they're back in it. Just like that. Blue guy down. Minis. Everyone's healthy. And the low ground just brings them back, right? They're just so good at playing low ground. They know what they're doing. They know how to take advantage of certain opportunities. They're shambles. They come right back. No big deal. Now it's just claim space. Continue the 2 wide tarp, especially in trios. This is a very important thing to do. Stay in a 2 wide like this. You're going to give your teammates a ton more opportunity. And of course, as we're seeing, Ceice's kind of... I mean, he's claiming a ton of space right now, but he's mostly just trying to go towards the center of zone. So he's pretty much dead center at this point, right? But yeah, I mean, he is claiming a ton of space. They can't hold this much space for long. Now we've got people coming in the back of the tarp here. This is just deadly. Like, a 2 wide tarp is just absolutely unbeatable. Kills left and right. Refresh after refresh. They don't even need it. They have enough mats to go here. Cammy needs a res here. I'll say this. The res pulling back or pulling at least towards some of their builds was lucky. Imagine it didn't pull back and it pulled further. Then this team maybe got in front of them, or this team could have got in front of them, and they may have had a bit more competition here. But it pulled right back regardless of what happened. And they're good to go. Straight back into old builds. Chop through. Very, very smart cone edit just to block your top. Not have to worry about it. Doesn't have to think about it one bit. Gives them as much space as possible. Now they're just breaking down. Now they don't have to worry about it. I think also Cammy, instead of reading that zone, knowing it goes on the hills is not the most difficult thing. You just have to glance at your minimap and see that it goes down elevation. Definitely something to take note of. Like, pay attention to the zones. Because if it isn't going down the hill, you need to claim these walls, right? Because they knew it was going down. They didn't have to claim any of these walls. They just did simple cone edits to get them through just until they got through. Now they're here. Now they're going to continue to just drop. Of course, these builds in front of them could be enemy builds. So I would imagine they're going to want to at least spray through them or break through them. And of course, they could have gone through these builds, but there's really no point in forcing ulti low. Like, you don't have to force the lowest ground. And so they don't do that. They're still on low ground technically, but yeah, just give yourself a good layer here. Especially if you know you're claiming it pretty easily here. Like, no one's contesting you. No one's dropping down. So they get it. Now they set up the heal off. And now I think we're going to see, yeah, Ceice And Cammy, try to get any kills they can. Gets that perfect siphon shot. Is able to keep Cammy alive for a little longer. Ceice also picks up some kills. I mean, here they're just racking up kills. And now Ceice's just looking for the last player, trying to see if he can find them. He couldn't get eyes on him. He couldn't see the old builds. Couldn't see anything. And he just goes down. Doesn't want to give anybody the siphon. Neither does Cammy. They both die. And now it's Chari in a heal off with, what, 5 medkits versus your boy Underdog, who has nothing. And this is a telltale sign right here. The guy's running around. He's got no heals. You win. GG's. So Chari, Cammy, Ceice, absolutely dominating low ground. I mean, they got all of their kills essentially from this game on low ground. They got a ton in the final 5 seconds. I think that the biggest thing we saw from them at this game was that they love to stay elevated, elevate, like every single time. If they could, they would. And even in that moving in game, they kind of just stair tarped up. That was huge for them to continue to stay elevated. And then, yeah, they went straight to low ground when things got bad. They kind of were forced there regardless, but they're obviously low ground champs. They know what they're doing. They know how to play. So they just take low ground and then they just dominate a team. They just absolutely roll them. Now, if that was a full trio that was stacked, I think we would have seen Cammy and Ceice potentially drop to a 10th place this game and not have done what they did. And that still would have been fine because they have their previous games. But that's just not that's like insane RNG to have a stacked team on low ground. That's fairly common. But if they play this every single game, which I'm sure if we watch a lot more of them, they're going to play this exact same way every single game, then they're just going to be doing the same thing. And eventually you're going to get that exact same scenario that just came up here. They're going to get that team that's knocked on low ground, or that solo or duo team that's on low ground that they're going to just be able to wipe out. Because Cammy and Ceice and Chari are so coordinated and such a good bunch, they're so tight and well just formed as a trio, they can just dominate any team. Like, you roll up on them, it's not going to be a good time for you. That is a win in the FNCS trials for Cammy, Ceice, and Chari. Very, very good stuff here. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys have any questions or have anyone else you guys want me to VOD review in any region, I'd love to watch them. I want to make sure you guys are as prepared as possible for the FNCS, the Cash Cups, Solo Cups coming up. So let me know who you guys want me to watch next, and I will see you guys later. Peace. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget, I host a Tuesday Thesis every single Tuesday at 2 p.m. CST. So get your gameplay watched, get your questions answered, and I'll see you there.